Hello and welcome. We're going to explore a question that sits right at the very heart of being human, the two paths that exist inside every single one of us.
And hey, before we really get into our story, if finding clarity in ancient wisdom is your kind of thing, please just take a quick second to subscribe to Heart City. It really does help us keep this space going for everyone. All right, let's dive in. So let me ask you something and be honest with yourself. Have you ever just stopped right in the middle of a busy day? Maybe you caught your reflection somewhere, and this quiet little question just popped into your head. Who am I actually becoming? You know, this isn't just some fleeting thought. It's really the most essential question of our entire life's journey.
And I'm not talking about your 5-year plan or the perfect life you show on social media. Nope. I mean the real you. The person who's being shaped moment by every small habit, every tiny choice, every reaction. The person you are when absolutely no one is watching.
So in the ancient epic, the Bhagavad Gita, this incredible warrior named Arjuna asks his guide, Krishna, this exact same question. And it's maybe the most dangerous and most important question you can ask. Why is it that some of us seem to find our way, to grow and find light, while others just get lost in the shadows, almost like they're doing it to themselves? Krishna's answer is pretty mind-blowing. He basically says the answer isn't out there somewhere in our jobs or our relationships. It's inside us. It's behind 2 doors. Our world today, it loves to say things like, you do you, all paths are valid. And, that sounds really nice and comforting. But Krishna kind of steps in and says, well, not exactly. He explains that there aren't a million different paths. When you boil it all down, there are really only 2 inner directions a person can take. And this lays it out perfectly. You've got 2 possible destinations. One path, the divine path, is all about heading towards freedom, peace, and, well, becoming more of who you truly are. And the other one, the destructive path, that leads to feeling trapped, to chaos, and to this slow, sad shrinking of your spirit. These aren't religious labels, by the way. They're just descriptions of energy, of a direction.
So what does this divine path actually look like? Well, it's built out of things like fearlessness. The courage to just be yourself, even if it's not popular. It's built on the self-discipline to choose what's right over what's easy, like actually apologizing when you mess up, and it's built on the compassion to see a little bit of yourself in everyone else. Krishna says these are the qualities that set you free.
And that other path, it's paved with these qualities. That arrogance that whispers, I already know everything. That constant low-level anger that's always bubbling under the surface. The hypocrisy of saying one thing and doing the total opposite. Now, the really important thing here is that Krishna isn't judging anyone. He's just giving us a warning, like a map, showing us exactly where these qualities will take us. These are the things that trap us. Let's just walk down that first path for a minute, the path of shadows, because honestly, it often shows up looking really modern, even attractive. The theme song for this path kind of sounds like this. It's that voice that says, I want what I want, and I deserve to have it right now. It's this whole mindset that's built on feeling entitled, like you're the special exception to all the rules. And honestly, it's a really lonely and restless way to live. So how does this actually show up in our lives today? Well, for one, there's the endless, soul-sucking scroll on our phones. You open an app and bam, you're drowning in a sea of everyone else's perfectly edited lives. This non-stop comparison, it is a giant signpost on the path of shadows because it keeps your focus locked on the outside, never on the inside. And next up is that hunger for approval from other people. It's that desperate feeling of needing more likes, more followers, more praise. Your own self-worth becomes this wild roller coaster that you have zero control over because you're always needing that next little hit of validation just to feel okay. It's so exhausting. And finally, there's how we glorify being completely burned out. We call it the hustle or the grind, but so often it's really just a frantic chase for more. And it's driven by this deep fear of being left behind. Krishna's warning here is actually incredibly kind. He's saying, listen, this relentless chase doesn't lead to winning. It leads to collapsing from the inside out. But then there's the other door, the other path, and it's a lot quieter. It leads somewhere completely different. Let's take a look at how this one is built. This path isn't loud, it's not
posting its achievements online. It's got nothing to do with getting ahead of other people. It's about achieving what you could call inner sovereignty, that solid, unshakable sense of who you are that doesn't get rattled by all the chaos in the world.
And you walk this path one thoughtful step at a time. It all starts with real accountability. Not just a quick, my bad, but the humility to say, I was wrong and this is what I'm going to do to make it right. It grows with restraint, finding that little bit of space, that sacred pause between something happening and how you react. That right there, that's your power. It matures into what you might call emotional stability, where you can respond to things with clarity instead of just reacting with raw emotion. And finally, it's all defined by a quiet kind of courage. Not being fearless, but choosing to act with kindness and integrity, especially when it would be so much easier to be mean or just not care.
So, we've seen the two paths and we've seen the two destinations, and now the story turns right back to you, because the choice is always and only yours. This right here is the absolute heart of the whole thing. You don't just become divine or destructive overnight. It happens in the tiny moments. Every time you justify a little white lie, you're casting a vote. Every time you choose compassion instead of judgment, you're casting a vote. You are slowly, choice by choice, becoming what you repeatedly do, and just as important, what you tolerate in yourself. So, right now, in this very moment, the key to both of those doors is right here, in your hand. The power to choose which way you go is yours. So, which door are you going to open? So how do we choose wisely? Krishna gives us the master key, discernment. Now what's so fascinating here is the difference. Judgment, that's like slamming a door on someone or something. It's final, it's rigid. But discernment, that's the wisdom to see the paths clearly for what they are, to understand where your choices will lead you. That is where real freedom begins. Okay, so we've seen the two places we could end up, but how does a simple choice actually become our character? In our next story, Krishna breaks down how the beliefs we hold, the very food we eat, and the actions we take are literally the building blocks of our destiny. This is where it gets really, really personal. Your story is being written with every single breath you take. If anything we talked about today hit home and you're choosing that path of growth, the path of light, go ahead and comment DIVI below, just to affirm that direction for yourself. And to make sure you don't miss the next chapter of this journey, please like this, share it with someone you think might need to hear it, and subscribe to Heart City. Let's walk this path together. Thanks so much for listening.